This is Chris Kell with an overview of our Peak Fitness programming folder. So in our Peak Fitness Lakeland folder, we created a personal training folder with all of the resources necessary to assist you in writing your personal training and group training programs. All right, I'm just going to go down them line by line here. First and foremost, we have what is called the Assess and Correct manual. Assess and Correct is a fantastic resource for mobility drills, looking at kind of posture deficits that somebody has, and then plugging in drills specifically. So if somebody has, for example, ankle mobility issues that you notice in the screen, you can go right in here, flip to the ankle mobility drills, and just plug one in based upon need. All right, so that is fantastic for that. And generally, we will use that for mobility drills, for filler exercises to warm up. So activation drills, warm up mobility drills, that sort of thing. After you do your screen, generally what happens is, or when I'm programming, I'll go into this, I'll kind of look at a couple options that I have available, and I'll plug those options in. Now with our group training manual, this has just the basic overview of how we create our programs. All right, with this, when I'm creating a program, I have a question about maybe, how do I sequence a cycle for a certain group, or how are things done? Okay, I'm going to go in here and just kind of check out, the basics, the nuts and bolts. And when we have somebody that's coming in that's new, whether it be a coach or a new programmer, this is the thing that we're going to take them through to just give them the nuts and bolts of our Peak Fitness system. Our Peak Fitness Lakeland group programs spreadsheet here has all of our current templates. So when you're creating a new cycle, when you're writing new programs for that month, you max out your current template. You can simply cut and paste these into a new spreadsheet, or create your own, and program kind of based upon the cycles that are already written in. So if I go to let me just give you an example of that. If I go to, say, small group 3-day, just looking at this folder real quick, I can go over to the small group training planner. I've actually planned out pretty much the rest of the year. So we've color coded sort of the phases here. I know that in July we're in more of an intensify phase and a total body split, whereas in August we've gone to an upper lower total split, where we've gone back to accumulate. Our videos on programming for the different templates explain exactly what that mean. But the idea is that kind of it's planned out and you know what's going on. Now from there, we're simply going to take the template, plug in the appropriate rep ranges and the exercises, and again, that's going to be elaborated on, in further templates. But you can either, again, just kind of cut and paste these, into another spreadsheet, or you can simply cut and paste these into a Word document and just email them to yourself and print. Okay, now going back, so that's that. Moving on, we have our metabolic conditioning guide. And with this, our metabolic conditioning guide contains all of our metabolic conditioning formats, formats for Friday throwdown workouts, formats for finishers and challenge workouts. And this is really the thing that I'm looking at also when I'm trying to choose, what exercises can I safely use in circuits. So really, this has all of the formats that we currently use here at Peak Fitness, and this is the reference that I'm using when I'm trying to create maybe a chisel class. I'm looking at writing the Friday throwdown workouts. Moving on, we have our personal training manual, and just like with the group training, this is all the nuts and bolts of the personal training system, kind of the different templates that we have, kind of explaining the different cycles. So this is, again, this is the foundational resource that I would review, just kind of become more acclimated with kind of the different programming for different types of clients, whether it be, an older client that's more of a maintenance situation, for an athlete, fat loss clients, it's all there. Now, moving on to our programming template, our Peak Fitness programming, this has literally every piece of information that I've kind of accumulated. And really with this, it has everything from, our models, our progress models that we've kind of put into different guides. It outlines everything from our abs classes to our progression from model fit to group training and personal training. And this is really the foundational resource for everything else. I mean, this outlines everything, gives guidelines of how to program, the different phases that we use. So really good thing to review as well. And then also, with different things, we also have, program cycles. We have a metabolic library here. that we continue to add to. With every exercise, I link to a video, and these are also listed in our metabolic conditioning guide. But these are exercises that we feel can be loaded up safely in metabolic workouts. So that's a useful thing when programming. We have some stuff on rep schemes. When you're creating rep schemes for different different clients, different phases, which zone are we looking at? So for example, for strength training, that would be maybe 3 to 5 reps, 5 to 8 sets. For Olympic lifts, 3 to 5 to 8 sets, 2 to 4 reps. So this is a good resource when, again, you're creating these programs. And you could just kind of play around with this, but just sort of this is the resource that ties everything together. And then finally, we have our training system exercises. These are the exercises that I've compiled into a guide that I use most often for strength training. These are the ones that I find to be useful. I've really found to be kind of foundational in what I do, and the ones that have been proven to work. And if you look at the guide itself, what it's basically showing us is, so we've got everything from strength training exercises for the upper and the lower body to core. And if we go down here, just sort of using the push-up as an example, our guide is just going to list some relevant cues for coaching the push-up, our standard progression, okay, and then variations that we utilize. So this is really cool. These are just some things to start thinking about. I mean, there are a million push-up variations, but the idea is we want to choose certain exercises that can be made progressively more difficult, yet varied as kind of variations upon a theme to keep clients interested. So that's just a quick overview of our programming folder. These are all resources that you can utilize to kind of make your programs better, and I want you to. So that is that, and we will also go over this.